I thought people who clipped coupons were just sad. Like, I genuinely felt bad for them. Standing in line at the grocery store, holding up everyone behind them, pulling out a little folder full of paper slips to save 60 cents on pasta sauce. I used to look at that and think, I never want to be that person. Then I met Derek. Derek is 34 years old. He works a regular 9-to-5 job at a logistics company in Ohio. He makes about $67,000 a year. Nothing crazy. And Derek drives a Tesla Model 3, owns a duplex, has $40,000 sitting in an index fund, and still, to this day, asks for the senior discount at restaurants even though he is nowhere near a senior citizen. He once argued for 4 minutes with the Applebee's hostess over a $3 discount. He won. I used to think Derek was weird. Now, I take notes every time he talks. Because here is what I learned. The habits that look embarrassing from the outside are often the exact habits that build real money. Not the habits that look good on Instagram. Not the ones that make you seem like you have it together. The ugly ones. The boring ones. The ones your friends make fun of you for. This video is about 12 of those habits. And by the time we are done, you are going to realize that the unattractive version of you might actually be the wealthiest version of you. Let me tell you what my life looked like before I understood any of this. I was 26. I had a decent job. I was making $52,000 a year, which felt like a lot at the time because it was more than I had ever made. And I was spending almost all of it. Every Monday, I told myself I was going to start being smart with money. By Wednesday, I had ordered DoorDash twice, bought a shirt I did not need, and signed up for a streaming service that I already had under a different email address. I thought I was treating myself. I thought that is what you do when you work hard. You spend the money. You enjoy it. You live your life. My coworker Lisa ate leftovers at her desk every single day. Every day. Same plastic containers, same reheated chicken and rice. I remember thinking, that is kind of sad. She works the same job as me. Why is she eating like that? Lisa just got back from 2 weeks in Bali. She paid for the whole trip in cash. I have $140 in my account 3 days before payday. That is when I started paying attention. I want to be clear about something before we get into the list. This is not about being cheap. This is not about suffering or depriving yourself. This is not about clipping coupons if you genuinely do not want to. This is about one specific thing. The habits that look unattractive to other people, but are quietly building real financial stability. Most people avoid these habits because they are worried about how they look. And that one decision, caring too much about appearances, is costing the average person tens of thousands of dollars over their lifetime. I am going to show you exactly what I mean. Habit number 1, meal prepping like a college student. I know how this sounds. Meal prepping feels like something a 20-year-old does in a tiny apartment with no furniture and too much time on their hands. But let me give you the actual numbers. The average American spends about $166 per month eating out, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. That is conservative. Most people I know spend closer to $250 to $300 per month on restaurants, takeout, and delivery. And that does not include the delivery fees and tips on DoorDash or Uber Eats, which can add 30 to 40% on top of the food cost. When I was spending $270 a month on food outside my home, I switched to meal prepping on Sundays. I now spend about $80 per week on groceries for 2 people. That is roughly $160 a month total. I went from spending $270 per month on food to about $160. That is $110 saved every month, or $1,320 per year. But if you were single and you were spending $300 a month on eating out, and you cut that down to $100 a month by cooking at home, you are saving $200 a month. That is $2,400 a year just from cooking your own food.
Marcus, who we will talk about more later, saved $3,200 in 1 year just from this habit alone. He started putting that money into a high-yield savings account. In 18 months, that account alone paid for his entire down payment contribution on a rental property. Does meal prepping look glamorous? No. Is bringing plastic containers to the office exciting? Absolutely not. Does $3,200 a year change your life? It starts to.
Habit number 2, buying generic brands without shame. Here is a fact that most people do not talk about. In many cases, the generic brand and the name brand product come from the exact same factory, the same manufacturer, the same ingredients, just a different label. The FDA requires that generic medications contain the same active ingredients in the same dosage as name brand medications. Many store brand food products are made by the same companies that make the name brand versions. Kirkland products at Costco, for example, are made by well-known manufacturers, including Duracell for batteries and Starbucks for some coffee products. The average American household spends about $5,000 per year on groceries. Switching to generic or store brand products on items like cereal, pasta, canned goods, cleaning supplies, and over-the-counter medicine can save you anywhere from 20 to 30% on those items. That is $1,000 to $1,500 per year. My friend Janet switched her entire grocery list to store brands for everything except 3 items she genuinely cared about. She saved $127 on her very first shopping trip compared to her previous week's receipt. That is not a small number. That is real money sitting in her cart because she stopped paying for packaging.
Habit number 3, saying, "Let me think about it," before every purchase over $50. This one sounds too simple to matter. It is not. There is a well-documented psychological phenomenon called impulse buying. Studies show that up to 84% of all shoppers make impulse purchases. The average American spends about $340 per month on impulse buys, according to a 2023 Slick Deal survey. That is $3,768 per year. The fix is embarrassingly basic. When you want to buy something that costs more than $50, do not buy it immediately. Say the words, out loud if you have to. "Let me think about it." Then wait 48 hours. You will be surprised how often you forget you even wanted it, or you find it cheaper somewhere else, or you realize you already have something that does the same job. I used this rule, and in the first 3 months, I canceled or delayed 11 purchases. The total value of those purchases was $890. I ended up going back and buying 2 of them after 48 hours because I actually needed them. I skipped the other 9. I saved $623 in 90 days by adding a 2-day pause to my spending. People around you will think you are indecisive. You are not indecisive. You are just not handing your money to the first store that asks for it. Habit number 4, keeping a running grocery list like an obsessive person. This one embarrassed me for a long time. My mom kept a grocery list on a notepad on the fridge my entire childhood. I thought that was an old person thing. I thought I could just go to the store and figure it out. Here is what actually happens when you go to the store without a list. You buy things you already have, you forget things you actually need and go back a second time, and you are significantly more likely to make unplanned purchases. The Food Marketing Institute estimates that shoppers without a list spend 40% more per shopping trip than those with one. If your average grocery trip is $100 and you go twice a week, that is $800 a month. A 40% reduction from list shopping brings that to $480. That is a $320 monthly difference, or $3,840 per year. Even if the real number for your household is half that, you are still looking at $1,500 to $2,000 in annual savings from writing things down on your phone before you leave the house. The most boring habit on this entire list might also be one of the highest return ones. Habit number 5, canceling subscriptions you forgot existed. Open your bank statement right now. Scroll through it slowly. Count every recurring charge.
I did this exercise in January 2023. I found Netflix $15.49, Hulu $17.99, a meditation app I downloaded in 2021 $12.99, an audiobook service I used twice $14.95, a cloud storage plan I did not need because I had another one $9.99, a fitness app from a New Year's resolution $19.99, LinkedIn Premium from a job search I finished $39.99. That was $131.49 per month, $1,576 per year on things I had largely forgotten about. I kept Netflix and canceled everything else. I saved $1,493 that year without changing a single thing about my actual lifestyle. I did not stop watching shows. I did not stop working out. I just stopped paying for 6 things I was not using. The average American has between 12 and 15 active subscriptions at any given time, according to a 2022 C+R research study. The same study found that people underestimate their subscription spending by about $133 per month. That means most people think they spend $86 a month on subscriptions. The actual average is $219. Go check right now. I am serious. Habit number 6. Wearing the same outfits repeatedly without apologizing. The fashion industry is the second largest polluting industry in the world, and also one of the most effective industries at making you feel like what you wore last week is already outdated. The average American spends $1,800 per year on clothing. That number jumps significantly higher for people in their 20s and 30s who feel social pressure to keep up with trends or maintain a certain appearance at work and on social media.
Habit number 7. Driving a boring, paid-off car. This one is the biggest money decision most people make without realizing it is a money decision. They think it is a car decision. It is not. It is a wealth decision. The average monthly car payment in the United States as of 2024 is $735 for a new vehicle and $523 for a used vehicle, according to Experian. On top of that, new vehicles cost more to insure, more to register, and depreciate by 20% in the first year of ownership. If you are driving a car with a $735 monthly payment and you switch to a reliable used car you bought outright for $12,000, here's what happens. You eliminate $735 per month in payments, $8,820 per year. Your insurance drops by an average of $600 to $1,000 per year. You stop paying registration fees based on new vehicle value. Total potential annual savings, $9,820 to $10,820 per year, every year, for as long as you drive that boring paid-off car. Marcus drove a 2015 Honda Civic he bought for $11,500 cash, while his friends were financing new cars with $600 per month payments. Over 3 years, while they each spent $21,600 just on car payments, Marcus spent $0. He put that money into an investment account instead. At a 7% average return, which is the historical average of the S&P 500, that money grew to over $25,000 in the same 3 years. His friends have cars that lost value every month. Marcus has money that gained value every month. Habit number 8. Asking for discounts out loud in public. Derek does this. Derek does this without any shame at all, and it is genuinely uncomfortable to watch, and also I respect it completely. Most people do not ask for discounts because they are embarrassed. They do not want to seem like they cannot afford something. They do not want the person behind them in line to judge them, so they pay full price. Here is the reality. Businesses expect negotiation in more situations than you think. AAA membership, AARP, military, student, and loyalty discounts are available at thousands of businesses and are never advertised. You have to ask. Annual membership discount programs, negotiating your cable or internet bill once per year, asking for a price match at electronic stores, requesting a fee waiver on your credit card once per year,
And negotiating your gym membership rate can collectively save you $500 to $1,200 per year, just from asking. I called my internet provider and said, I have been a customer for 4 years, and I just saw a promotion for new customers that is $30 less than what I pay. Can you match that? They said yes immediately. I did not negotiate. I did not threaten to leave. I just asked. I saved $360 that year from a single 3-minute phone call. Asking for discounts looks awkward for about 10 seconds. Not asking costs you thousands over your lifetime.
Habit number 9, bringing your own coffee and lunch to work. I know you have heard this one before. I know the skip the latte advice feels outdated and condescending. But I am not going to tell you to skip your latte. I am going to show you the number and let you decide. The average cup of coffee at a cafe in the United States costs between $5 and $7 per year. If you buy one every workday, that is $1,300 to $1,820 per year on coffee alone. A quality bag of coffee beans costs $12 to $18 and makes roughly 30 cups. That brings your per cup cost to about 40 cents to 60 cents. If you make your own coffee 5 days a week for a year, you spend about $100 to $150 on coffee for the entire year. The savings on coffee alone, $1,150 to $1,670 per year. Now, add lunch. The average lunch bought near an office in a US city costs $12 to $18, including tip. 5 days a week, that is $60 to $90 per week, or $3,120 to $4,680 per year. Bringing lunch from home costs $2 to $4 per meal if you meal prep. That is $520 to $1,040 per year. Savings on lunch, $2,600 to $3,440 per year. Combined coffee and lunch savings, $3,750 to $5,310 per year. Every year, from 2 habits that take about 20 extra minutes on a Sunday. Lisa, the Bali coworker, did this calculation in 2021. She was spending $4,200 per year on work lunches and coffees. She switched. She saved $3,800 in the first year. That money funded her Bali trip, and she still had $1,100 left over. Habit number 10, buying secondhand without embarrassment. Thrift stores, Facebook Marketplace, OfferUp, eBay, and apps like ThreadUp and Poshmark exist, and the people who use them regularly are not the people who cannot afford new things. Increasingly, they are the people who choose not to waste money on markups that do not improve the product. A brand new KitchenAid stand mixer costs $449. The same model on Facebook Marketplace in good condition, $120 to $180. A brand new Patagonia jacket, $250. On ThreadUp, $45 to $80. Brand new office desk, $350 at a furniture store. Facebook Marketplace, $60, and the person will often deliver it. The average household buying secondhand instead of new for furniture, clothing, electronics, and appliances saves an estimated $1,400 to $3,000 per year, depending on how aggressively they shop this way. My neighbor Tom furnished an entire home office, desk, chair, bookshelf, monitor, and keyboard stand for $340 total on Facebook Marketplace. Buying the same items new would have cost him $1,850. He saved $1,510 in one afternoon of scrolling. The stigma around buying used is dissolving. The financial logic never needed defending. Habit number 11, saying, I cannot afford that, honestly. This is the habit most people find the most uncomfortable because it requires admitting something in front of other people. When a friend suggests an expensive restaurant and you genuinely cannot fit it in your budget that month, the socially safe thing to do is go anyway and charge it to a credit card. The financially responsible thing to do is say, I cannot afford that this month. Can we go somewhere else?
The average American carries $6,501 in credit card debt, according to TransUnion data from 2023. The average credit card interest rate in 2024 is over 21%. That means someone carrying $6,500 in credit card debt is paying over $1,365 per year just in interest. Not paying down the debt, just the interest. That debt starts somewhere. It starts in restaurants you could not afford, events you felt pressured to attend, trips you went on to avoid seeming like you could not keep up. Saying, "I cannot afford that honestly," is uncomfortable once. Carrying credit card debt is uncomfortable every single month, for years. My friend Rachel started saying it out loud. Her real friends respected it immediately. The ones who made her feel bad about it taught her something useful about those friendships. In 12 months of honest budgeting and saying no when she meant no, Rachel paid off $4,800 in credit card debt and stopped accumulating new debt entirely.
Habit number 12, staying home on weekends on purpose. Not every weekend, not forever, just with intention. The average American spends between $150 and $300 per weekend on social activities. That includes going out to eat, bars, entertainment like movies or concerts, and incidental purchases that happen when you are out. Over 52 weekends, that is $7,800 to $15,600 per year in weekend spending. If you cut that in half by choosing 2 to 3 weekends per month to stay home and genuinely enjoy being home, cooking a meal, watching something you wanted to watch, doing something free outdoors, you save $3,900 to $7,800 per year. This does not mean being antisocial. It means being selective. It means understanding that some of the money you spend going out is not money you spent because you genuinely wanted to. It is money you spent because you felt like you were supposed to be doing something on a Saturday night. Derek stays home 2 weekends a month on purpose. He calls it free weekends. His friends used to think he was boring. Now, they call him to ask how he managed to pay off his mortgage early at 41. Now, let me tell you about Marcus properly. Marcus is 28 years old. He lives in Columbus, Ohio. He makes $58,000 a year as a project coordinator. Nothing exceptional about his income. Average city, average job, average salary. In 2021, Marcus was broke. Not dramatically broke, quietly broke. He had $800 in savings, $5,400 in credit card debt, a car payment of $490 per month, and 0 investments. He was going out every weekend, buying lunch every day, wearing new outfits to look like he had money, and financing a 2021 Nissan Altima that was losing value faster than he could pay it off. One evening, he did an honest calculation. He wrote down every single thing he spent money on in October 2021. The total was $4,820. His take-home pay was $3,750. He had spent $1,070 more than he earned in a single month. He had done that for multiple months. The credit card was covering the gap and charging him 24% interest to do it. Marcus started making changes in November 2021. He did not make all of them at once. He started with 3 habits from this list: meal prepping, making his own coffee, and canceling unused subscriptions. Month 1, he saved $340 more than he had the month before. Not life-changing, but he had more money at the end of the month than the month before, for the first time in 2 years. By month 6, he had added the grocery list habit, switched to generic brands, and stopped buying new clothes unless something was worn out. He was saving $900 per month net. He paid off his credit card in 14 months. In January 2023, he sold the Nissan Altima, took the equity, and bought a 2016 Honda Civic for $10,200 cash. His car payment went from $490 per month to 0. His insurance dropped by $87 per month. He started investing the car payment money, $490 per month, into an S&P 500 index fund through his Roth IRA. He maxed out his Roth IRA contribution in 2023 for the first time in his life. The contribution limit that year was $6,500. In June 2024, 32 months after he started making these changes, Marcus put $18,500 as a down payment on a duplex. He lives in one unit and rents the other unit for $1,100 per month. His mortgage on the entire property is $1,340 per month. He effectively pays $240 per month to own a property that is building equity. His friends who were laughing at the Honda Civic in 2022 are still paying $490 to $650 per month on car loans. One of them just had his car repossessed. If Marcus had stopped in January 2022 after just 2 months of trying, he would have saved about $680 and gone back to his old habits. He would have missed $18,000 in investment growth, a paid-off credit card, and a rental property generating income every month. He almost did stop. He told me he almost stopped in month 2 because it felt like nothing was happening fast enough.
This is the part that nobody tells you clearly enough. The reason that building financial habits feels so hard is not because you are undisciplined. It is because your brain is wired to respond to immediate feedback. When you go out and spend money, you feel something immediately. The food, the experience, the social connection. When you save money, you feel nothing immediately. The reward is invisible for months. That invisibility makes people quit. But here is what actually happens on the back end. Every month you save $900 instead of spending it is not just $900. If you invest that $900 at a 7% annual return, after 10 years, that single month savings becomes $1,771. Every month of saving is actually worth nearly double in 10 years. The problem is, your brain cannot feel that, so it tells you to quit. The solution is not more willpower. The solution is to make the habits automatic, so your brain does not have to decide. Set up an automatic transfer to savings on payday. Meal prep on Sunday, so the decision is already made on Wednesday. Cancel the subscriptions today, so the money never leaves your account next month. Remove the decision. Remove the temptation. Let the boring habit run in the background while you live your life.
Here is the simple version of all of this. The 12 habits we covered can save the average person between $15,000 and $22,000 per year, depending on their current spending. Not all 12 will apply to everyone. Even if 5 of them apply to you, you are likely looking at $5,000 to $8,000 in annual savings. Start with 2. Just 2. Pick the 2 that felt most true when you read them. The 2 where you thought, that is literally me. Start there. Do them consistently for 60 days. Let the numbers show up in your account. Let that feeling of having more money at the end of the month be the motivation to add a 3rd habit. You do not need to become Derek immediately. You just need to start somewhere. But do not wait, because here is what waiting costs you. If you are 28 years old and you delay starting these habits by just 3 years, and you could have been investing $700 per month during those 3 years, you lose $25,200 in contributions, plus the compound growth on that money. At 7% annual return over 30 years, that 3-year delay costs you over $140,000 at retirement. 3 years of looking cool is a $140,000 decision. Remember Derek? The guy asking for the senior discount at 34? I asked him once if he was embarrassed doing that. He looked at me like I had asked him the strangest question he had ever heard. He said, embarrassed in front of who? The waiter I will never see again? For saving $3? That was not a small moment when I heard it. That was the whole point of everything I have been trying to figure out about money. The people whose opinions you are spending thousands of dollars per year to manage are mostly not paying attention. And if they are not funding your retirement. Derek is 34. He has a paid-off duplex, a Tesla he bought in cash, and $40,000 in index funds. He asks for every discount available to him, and he does not feel anything except $3 richer. That is the goal. Not looking wealthy,
actually being it.